I'm Kellie Murphy-Ringate, Fire Inspector and Public Educator with the Excelsior Fire District, and welcome to First Responder TV, your local public safety source featuring training exercises and safety tips and much more. Here's what's coming up on First Responder TV. We'll take you inside the house burn training exercise held in Deephaven by the Excelsior Fire District. We'll talk to Dan Bernardy, Chairman of the Governor's Fire Prevention Day at the Minnesota State Fair. Scam Alert. We'll give you an update on scams that have been targeting citizens in the lake area. And everyone's favorite master of avoiding danger is back. The LMCC safety expert stops by to give you some important bike safety tips on Safety Source. Now we'll take you on location to an Excelsior Fire District hot drill. A hot drill is where firefighters can have valuable hands-on training with live fire in a realistic setting.
They've got heavy fire, they're not making progress.
Guys, let's go, fire it up.
We've got the fire knocked out.
Tonight was an opportunity for us to do some live burn training in a home donated to us by an owner of a home on a property here in Deephaven. We're forever grateful for that because it's a great opportunity for our firefighters to be able to experience a live fire training and be able to give people some opportunities that maybe they don't get to see except for a real event. So the opportunity to do something in a wood structure, to be able to see how fire might travel is extremely helpful for us for when there might actually be an actual fire.
We're still fighting the fire here. Copy, still fighting the fire.
We make sets beforehand in the rooms, not necessarily to simulate the items that are in there, but just to make it so we can get a good fire development. Generally then, once we start going to the room fires, is we're just lighting fires, we're letting them build up to a point that we think it's similar to what we're gonna run into by the time we get to a structure in a certain area. You know, so the fire volume is gonna be about the same as what we'd run into, and then have them go in and actually, you know, try and extinguish the fire and do what they should do on a regular call. And, you know, if they make mistakes, now is the time to correct them and get them in there to try and do it again.
Command to attack team. Copy that. Fire knocked down.
One of the things that the firefighters will do is they'll go into the fire, they'll knock those gases and that superheated air back because it actually moves across the ceiling. One of the things that they have to do is they have to ventilate. So what the firefighters did for this room is they broke out the window and they put a fog stream, a different pattern of water. We put it through the window and that pulls the smoke and the superheated air out of the room so we can work in that room, it'll be cooled down and we can actually see. And that's when we can see where the other fires might be flaring up.
Yeah, the strike team, team number 4. Strike team copies.
We went in teams of typically 3 or 4 firefighters into a fire that was set in a specific area. They were able to go in, they were able to look at fire behavior. In other words, how's the fire gonna act? They were able to do fire suppression. In other words, be able to put that fire out, and then on top of that, they were able to do overhaul, meaning let's make sure that the fire hasn't traveled anyplace else. We try to set the house up so that it's as safe as it can be, so nobody else gets hurt. The goal being that at the end of the day, everybody goes back home safe.
Command interior progress report. Fire knocked out.
As our job, part of our training is we have to do this. It's part of our, you know, our certifications and all that is we have to get burn training in. We just love these when we can get them because this is the real thing. I mean, this is as close to making it safe as we can to actually train in our job in the hazardous environments we have. Some mistakes were made, but when you come out, we talk about them and, you know, we can correct them now. If they hadn't been here, they might never know that and they'd make that mistake later on. After tonight, they won't make that mistake.
Interior repeat. 10-4.
Certainly there are always opportunities for us to learn. There might be some opportunities for us to look at things a little bit differently, but overall it was a very successful night for us.
Coming up next, we'll talk to Dan Bernardy, founder, creator, and chairman of Governor's Fire Prevention Day at the Minnesota State Fair. More First Responder TV right after this.
We interrupt this program to bring you this important message.
The Lake Minnetonka Communications Commission, located in Spring Park, Minnesota, offers free television production classes. You heard it right. Free, free, free. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will help bring your idea to the big screen.
Why, thank you. We are very friendly and knowledgeable.
From studio lighting and nonlinear editing to on-location shooting, we'll guide you down the path you need to succeed. Hurry in, folks. An opportunity this good won't last forever.
Cable access channels are critical tools for local government. They provide important information about issues, services, and programs, as well as local emergencies. They also allow you to watch your local elected officials in action. Through the provision of governmental access channels, our communities are kept informed, educated, and entertained. Where else can you get information about your local government? Make sure everyone has a voice. Support your local government access channel.
Welcome back to First Responder TV. And joining us here today is Dan Bernardy, founder, creator, and chairperson for Governor's Fire Prevention Day at the Fair. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Well, it's an honor to be here, Kelly. It's always fun to talk to you.
The first question I'd like to ask you is basically, can you give us a verbal tour of Fire Prevention Day at the State Fair, starting with the hot zone?
Well, absolutely, Kelly. I'd love to. Starting in the hot zone, we have about 100 exhibits just in the hot zone itself, with some very dynamic exhibits and demonstrations. Everything from the kitchen fire safety trailer to safe escape houses where the kids learn to get out safely and respond properly to alarms in their home, to 1 minute CPR, where people learn the very basics of CPR and how to protect and save lives in their community. And when we go through then, out of there, we're going to go up to Carousel Park, where we're going to find the rehabilitation of people through HCMC, Hennepin County Medical Center, has an award-winning display, and it's very graphic and describes the rehabilitation of someone that's been burned. Off from Carousel Park, in the park itself, we have the Explorers. We have over 200 youth ages 14 to 21 that are doing fireground activities such as search and rescue, ladder raising, gear donning competitions, a lot of different things that they can learn and start to get a career path and decide whether this is a future they'd like to be a part of, and whether it's a career for themselves or as a volunteer to assist in their community. They get a real hands-on feel for it. From there, we can move over to Teen Fair. And Teen Fair, where we have mock collisions and exhibits an exhibit that shows the youth at work again, actually using the jaws of life. We have police explorers there that have a DUI arrest to make and then show the way they do the job they do, as well as the explorers doing an extrication of a person from a motor vehicle. And so that's very popular. A lot of folks really enjoy to come and see that. And then we have over at the Liney Lodge, we have early in the morning at 10 a.m. we do a flag raising service that we have the governor, if they're available, comes and speaks, the state fire marshal, the commissioner of public safety. Along with the flag raising, we do have a memorial type service where we are sharing with the community the grief that some people who gave the ultimate sacrifice in our job, as well as those victims of those fires, where we celebrate the lives of those people and try to learn through their tragedies how to prevent them. So throughout the day, there's a lot of exciting things. We have several hundred people there working very hard to make that all come together.
Can you tell me where the hot zone is?
The hot zone is down right in front of Heritage Square. It's on Dan Patch Avenue on the far west side of the State Fairgrounds.
Now, the Fire Explorers Challenge is a great part of the Minnesota State Fair Governor's Fire Prevention Day. Last year, with a lot of success, they added public education presentations to the Fire Explorers Challenge, and they do presentations on the stage. Can you tell us a little bit more about the criteria for those presentations?
Sure, and I'll share with you that we had it in the past, and that the youth weren't as excited about that as they were the hands-on things. And so we got back together as a group of advisors and discussed the need for them to understand that that is part of their role as a firefighter, and that that preventive measures in whatever area we respond to people in need, whether it's a fire in their home or smoke or a fire outside their home on their deck, or just information, it's important that the youth learn those lessons and understand that it's part of their job as a firefighter to do. And so it's become a very exciting part of their contest now, and in their role as leaders there during that day. These are youth that are teaching other youth and people, and so they are part of our leadership team that day. So it gives them that bond with us as well. But the criteria that they have is very important. It has to be engaging. It has to make sure that the people are going to want to listen to them for a few minutes, so it's got to be fun and engaging. It has to have a strong safety message in it, whether it's a reactive lesson, such as escaping from a home, or a proactive message, such as keeping lighters and matches away from children.
Now those presentations occur on the Carousel Park stage. There's other appearances on the stage that day. Can you tell us a little bit about those different appearances that are scheduled?
I can, and I can tell you that if you're lucky, you will get there at a time when Kelly is up there giving her speech and talking about kitchen fire safety. But we have Nardini, the manufacturer of fire extinguishers in our area here, will be there doing fire extinguisher demonstrations. We will have our Minute CPR folks there teaching CPR. The explorers then in between will be doing some demonstrations, and we challenge the media as well to come out and compete with our explorers and see exactly what our explorers are going through and how well they can face that challenge.
This year is the 15th anniversary of Governor's Fire Prevention Day at the Minnesota State Fair. Can you give us a little history on how Governor's Fire Prevention Day started?
Well, 15 years ago, or 15 and a half years ago, my boss, I was working as a deputy state fire marshal, and my boss walked in and said, I just came from a meeting and we're looking for the largest event that we could put on to try to get as many people educated in a single day as we can. Do you have any ideas? And of course my head started swimming, and it took actually 3 proposals to the state fair before we were able to secure ourselves Governor's Fire Prevention Day. We started with 8 fire departments and 40 firefighters. We had a half a dozen trucks and a safe escape house, and we took 1 block in front of the DNR, and we did our thing. And it has grown over 15 years from those 40 firefighters to well over 850 representatives or volunteers, 200 exhibits. So yes, it's been very exciting and very fun growth, as well as knowing that we have the ability to teach 100,000 Minnesotans in a single day how to protect themselves and the people around them. We are saving lives proactively by communicating and engaging the public in a fun and entertaining way.
Can you tell our viewers a little bit more about the Governor's Council and what its actual function is?
The Governor's Council is built of many different associations: the Fire Chiefs Association, the Arson Investigators Association, the Fire Marshals Association, and non-fire people, building owners and homeowners association, the Architects Association, the burn centers, those that have an initial or a very visible vested interest, and then those who are more subtle in their benefit from being a member of a fire prevention group. So it's a very large group of very heavy hitters. And those heavy hitters get together and determine different things that are the best interests of the people of Minnesota, whether it's sprinkler legislation, whether it's a smoke alarm or carbon monoxide alarm legislation, or, as they've told us many times, the sparkling thing in their cabinet is the Governor's Fire Prevention Day at the fair.
Great. Can you tell our viewers where they can find information right now so they can plan their day at the Governor's Fire Prevention State Fair, and when they get to the State Fair, where they can find these very cool fans that have a map of the event and the information about the event on the back?
And if you don't have something on a stick at the state fair, you're behind, right? And so our maps moved to a stick a few years ago, and now if you notice on the map, you'll see that we also have Facebook information, website information, and even a QR code, which took some educating on me to tell me exactly what all this meant and how it could benefit us, which it does. And so, yes, as you enter the fair on August 23rd, you'll be able to go to any of the booths representing Governor's Day, or to the information booths and be able to find out or get yourselves a map of where all of our locations are, as well as something to cool you off during the day.
Yes.
Okay? And that day again can be found on governorsfirepreventionday.com, all one long word, governorsfirepreventionday.com, or look us up on Facebook as well. There's a lot of ways to learn more about it, but start by looking up or even Googling Governor's Fire Prevention Day.
Thanks for joining us, Dan, and everybody mark your calendars for Governor's Fire Prevention Day at the State Fair. It is a great day, lots of excitement. We'll be back in just a moment.
Different words describe different people. But in the eyes of the law, there's one that fits us all. Human right number 7. We're all equal before the law. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
Every minute, my world seems to get a little smaller. My world is driving me crazy.
My world? What world? If your world is controlled by alcohol, there is hope.
We're AA, alcoholics helping other alcoholics get sober.
You'll find us in the phone book, your local newspaper, or on the web at aa.org.
Welcome back to First Responder TV. It's time for Scam Alert. In this segment, we alert the public on scams that have been reported to local police departments.
Minnesota senior citizens are being targeted by Social Security scams. Fraudulent operators pretend to be calling about Social Security, but their purpose is to trick seniors into disclosing their private financial information. Disclosing such information can lead to identity theft or unauthorized withdrawals from a person's bank account. The callers claim that new Social Security benefit cards are being issued or that the beneficiary's file must be updated. They'll ask the citizen to verify or provide their personal banking information. The scammers may be aggressive by calling again and again in an attempt to wear the victim down. In some cases, the scammers may have some personal information about the citizen, such as their name or address, which they'll use to try and make the call seem legitimate. In other cases, the callers claim that they can improve your benefits. Do not believe these claims. If you are a Social Security beneficiary, the Social Security Administration will not call you and ask you to disclose financial information to get a new card. If you receive such a call, you should report it directly to the Social Security Administration by calling 800-772-1213. Telemarketing scams continue to happen throughout Minnesota, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to tell the difference between reputable telemarketers and criminals who are out to take advantage of you. Each scam is different, but all follow a similar design. Fraudulent telemarketers want you to believe that it's your lucky day, they can get you a great deal, or solve your problems. They'll use tactics such as pressure to act immediately, refusal to send you written information, or request your financial account numbers even if you're not paying for something. Callers may also pretend to be from companies you do business with and ask you to verify personal information they should already have. Don't hesitate to hang up on suspicious calls and contact the company directly to confirm this information is needed. If a company or charity is unfamiliar, check them out with your state or local consumer agency and the Better Business Bureau first. If you are a victim of telemarketing fraud, it's important to report the scam quickly so law enforcement agencies can shut the fraudulent operation down. You can report telemarketing scams at fraud.org using the online complaint form. A West Metro woman received a phone call from someone claiming to be with a company called Global IT. The caller told the woman they were noticing errors with her Microsoft Windows computer and they would need remote access to repair the problem. The woman, knowing that there were no issues with her computer, hung up. Always remember, You are the one who calls a technician when you're having problems with your computer. They don't call you. If you grant anyone other than a computer technician that you've contacted yourself remote access to your computer, you can open yourself up to major problems. Scammers use remote access of your computer to steal your personal information or commit financial or identity theft. If you receive suspicious calls from companies like this, report the scam to the Better Business Bureau.
When we come back, the LMCC safety expert gives us some important bike safety tips on Safety Source. But first, we'd like to spotlight a member of the community that goes above and beyond in our next segment, Making a Difference. This month, it's Deephaven Police Department Reserve, Amy Rolland Martinek.
Well, why I became a reserve is that I was looking for something to do and kind of fulfill my time. When I was growing up, there was a officer that would drive around in the summertime, and I just got to know him. And he always suggested I should become a cop or become an officer. And my eye was more in the field of anthropology and doing that kind of stuff. And then eventually I came back, and he got me to join, and then I switched over to being a law enforcement criminal justice major. What I really like most is going out and interacting with the public, especially the kids, and handing out we have little pencils and stickers and stuff that we give to children. I really like that aspect, and just reaching out to the community. That's probably one of my favorite things. It doesn't matter who we are, but it's important to give back. There's a sense of fulfillment and a sense of purpose that I definitely get from it. And once you start, especially when you become a reserve and get to know these officers, and then you get to do all these different things, you just want to do more and more and more and learn as much as you can. I've definitely grown as a person doing this.
It's your community, it's your airport. Being aware and vigilant is the best defense against the ongoing threat of terrorism. As users of the airport, you are our eyes and ears. If you see anything suspicious at or near MSP International Airport, report it to the airport police.
The very real and deliberate threat that this nation faces is not confined to the airport. If you see suspicious activity anywhere in the community, report it to your local police department. You are an important part of keeping our communities safe.
Keep an eye out and keep our airport safe.
Be aware, be vigilant, and be safe.
Hi, I'm Conservation Officer Scott Staples. Zebra mussels, Eurasian water milfoil, and other invasive species continue to be a threat to our waters, and we need your help to stop their spread. When you trailer your boat, be sure to remove any aquatic plants, mud, or zebra mussels attached to your boat, equipment, and trailer. Drain water from your bait bucket, live well, and boat before leaving the boat landing, and dispose of unwanted live bait in the trash. These simple steps protect our lakes and rivers and can help you avoid a citation. Remember, help stop aquatic hitchhikers.
The easiest way to stay safe is to know and understand the rules of the road. The LMCC safety expert takes us on the trail in Spring Park to bring you some important bike safety tips.
And now it's time for Lake Minnetonka's favorite champion of safety, protector of humankind, and master of avoiding danger, the LMCC's safety expert.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. I thought you were a cardinal. Oh, hello. Welcome to another edition of the LMCC Safety Expert. I'm your host, Chris Vogt, LMCC Safety Expert. I was just doing some bird watching on my favorite trail here in Spring Park, Minnesota. Now today we're going to give you some important bike safety tips. Why? Because as a master safety expert, it's my job to keep you safe this summer. Now, things didn't go exactly as planned last time on the Safety Expert, now did they? Well, I sure won't let that happen again, now will I? Hey, are you laughing at me, camera operator? Look at me when I'm talking to you. You're the one who told me to stand that close to the street anyway. Oh, camera operator, I'm sorry. Why don't we let bygones be bygones? What do you say? Great! Now let's give our viewers some important bike safety tips. Well, I'm on my bike now, and we're about to head out for a ride. But first things first, always protect yourself from injury. Be sure to always wear a bike helmet. Oh, whoops, let's try that again. All right, that's better. Also, always check to make sure you have enough air in your tires. And be sure to always check your brakes. Make sure to always bring your water bottle. And sunglasses. You always need to look cool on the trails. And some bubbles. just in case you get bored. Cool. And last but not least, always bring some gummy worms for sustenance. All right, now we're ready to head on down the trail so I can give you some more important bike safety tips. Here we go. Hey, who took off my training wheels?
Whether during the day or at night, you need to be seen by others. Always wear neon, fluorescent, or other bright colors when riding. Try to wear something that reflects light, such as reflective tape or flashing lights. Remember, just because you can see a driver doesn't mean the driver can see you. Be on the lookout for hazards such as potholes, broken glass, gravel, and puddles. Always give pedestrians the right of way. Ride on the right in the same direction as other vehicles, and always use hand signals when turning or stopping. I've asked 2 of my junior safety experts to help demonstrate the right way to signal.
That's right, hand signals are very important. If you would like to make a left turn, put your arm out like this. If you would like to make a right turn, put your arm up like this. If you would like to stop or slow down, put your arm in a downward position. Now you try it, safety expert.
Hey kids, like this?
Oh man.
Also when riding, be predictable and ride in a straight line. Bicyclists are encouraged to maintain a 3-foot clearance from any motor vehicles, even when riding past parked cars. When you ride in the street, obey all traffic signs, signals, and lane markings just as if you were in a car. Always ride with at least one hand on the handlebars. Children less than 10 years old are not mature enough to make the decisions necessary to ride in the street and are better off riding on a sidewalk. And remember, always ride carefully.
Well, I'm sure you all learned some important bike safety tips. I know I sure did. And, you know, I think I've got this whole bike riding thing figured out. So until next time, this is the LMCC Safety Expert. Wow, that tree came out of nowhere.
Thank you for watching First Responder TV, your local public safety source. If you have an idea for a segment, a public safety or fire prevention event, please let us know. This is Kellie Murphy-Ringate giving you information you can use, share, and to live by. See you next time.